Most of the stories were written before the collection existed, published years before in many cases. So it's actually the reverse. Call and response came out of looking at some of the things I thought were my best work and what I had. And very oftentimes I like to go back and, leave myself a little bit of world I haven't explored and find out what the implications of that was. And that kind of reminded me of the call and response of the Black church, how a sermon goes, but also, the call and response musical form, like a sea shanty. And I have a lot of nautical based stories. But in one case, the Lonesome Sea, the new story for the collection, that was influenced by the form because I already had that in mind. And in the original story, which is one of the last stories in the collection, Canst Thou Draw Out the Leviathan, Pip is a very minor character who serves a very important role, but he's kind of strange and haunted. And at one point, he says to John Wood, the freedman, that he stole his own freedom. And that was something I hadn't really panned out yet. I hadn't really expanded on it. And it was a lot of fun, especially thinking of the structure of how the book was going to work, to go back and figure out how that happened and to explore um, where Pip developed from. Because in The Lonesome Sea, he's a fairly ordinary young man, like spirited, kind of bright, curious, and creating the transformation from that to kind of haunted prophet of doom was a lot of fun. Originally, I'd actually planned to have him be a pearl diver because in the 1700s, 1800s, there were enslaved children who were employed as pearl divers in the Americas. Unfortunately, there were none that would have worked with the location of where Pip's from. They're mostly not Anglophones, they're mostly in Spanish speaking countries. And since Pip is clearly from the early United States, it kind of changed the concept a little. But I did keep in a giant pearl that Agwe sits on as kind of a reference to the original concept.